What's up, guys? Bob Buskirk here again at Think Computers, and today we're taking a look at another Z77 motherboard. This one is actually one of the smallest Z77 motherboards you can buy. It's the Z77 ITX Wi-Fi from Zotac. It gives you everything that you want from the Z77 chipset in a very small form factor, perfect for a LAN machine or even a home theater PC. So let's check it out. Unlike many motherboard boxes, this one does not have a ton of information on the front, probably because there is not a lot of room anyways. It is a very small box, but it lets us know it is the Intel Z77 chipset, and it's designed for 3rd generation Intel Core processors, and it has Zotac's extended warranty and let you know, of course, it is a Z77-ITX Wi-Fi board. Now on the back, there is an overview of the actual board, and it'll give you all the information you would want to know right before you're about to purchase it. So if you're at the store, you can turn it around and kind of get a look at all the features and everything like that. Opening it up should be pretty simple here. Comes open like that, and we have all of our accessories. So it looks like we have a USB 3.0 backplate here, 2 USB 3.0 ports. We have, this looks like a CPU power connector. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 SATA cables, and they are orange, which I would guess would be to match the board. Looks like you have mini display ports to full display port. You have your 2 Wi-Fi antennas right here, and this looks like another sort of backplate, not sure what for yet. Maybe USB ports, not really sure. We have our quick installation guide. We have our user's manual, and inside there we should have our driver CD right there. And finally, we have our backplate, and it is labeled. Just in case you don't know what connections are what, they are labeled on the back. So now it's time to get into the actual motherboard. Before we actually get into taking a look at the motherboard, what I really wanted to show you is the actual size of the motherboard. And so here's our ITX motherboard, and here is a normal 3.5-inch hard drive. Normal SATA hard drive. And you can see just how small this board is. It's not micro ATX, it's actually an ITX board, which is extremely small. And again, as I said, it is perfect for a LAN machine or something like a home theater PC where you don't want it to be that big. Now, go up here, and I guess we'll start at the bottom here, and this is a PCI Express X16 slot, so you will be able to do discrete graphics. As I said, if you want to make it a LAN machine, you do have that option, so you can get a good enough graphics card in here to play your games. You have your CPU power right here, and as I showed you earlier, it does come with the extension cable, which is a nice thing to see. You have the LGA 1155 socket right there, so you're able to do 2nd generation and 3rd generation processors in here, or I would suggest doing the 3rd generation, but you can put the 2nd generation chips in here. It has an 8-phase power design, as you can see. And what's interesting is there is a very large heatsink, 2 heat sinks connected with the heat pipe right there. So this may get a little hot. It all depends. We'll have to check that in our testing. Moving over here, you have your front panel connectors. You can see right there, and then you have a 4-pin fan header. You have your 24-pin power connector. You have your reset switch. You have your debug LED, and then you have your power switch. So it's nice to see power and reset on the board, especially if you're troubleshooting or maybe you're having a problem with your case. You can easily turn the system on and off and reset very, very easily. You have 2 DDR3 slots, and they support, I believe, up to 133 megahertz. I'm not specifically sure on that. I'll have to check. Then you have your Wi-Fi right here, which is built into the board, and of course it connects to the ones in the back, which we'll get to in a second. You have your mSATA slot, and I really like to see this on this specific size of board. I really don't think it makes a lot of sense on an ATX board. I know a lot of people who have ATX boards, mSATA is just kind of, I just wouldn't use it. But on something like this where you are trying to fit this in a very, very small case, a very, very, very tight, confined space. The M SATA makes a lot of sense because you can load your OS on that and then have your external drives for other things. You have 2 SATA 3 gig ports and 2 SATA 6 gig ports, as well as your fan header here. And this is the CPU fan header, I believe. So it's a 4-pin header right there. And then you have internal USB ports. It looks like you have 2 of those. Try to get it so you guys can see. There you go. So you can see that. And then you do have an internal USB 3.0. See if you can see it right down in there. Kind of really hard to see down in there, but you do have, let me see if I can get, there you go. You can kind of see it right down in there is that internal USB 3.0 header, which is, I do like to see that, especially on a small board. Being able to fit that in just allows you to have even more expansion. Now we're going to move to the back, and again, here is a ton of expansion. So obviously you're not going to be able to connect, at most you can do 4 hard drives in here, but with all the connections on the back, you can do a lot. So you have 4 USB 2.0 ports. You have your connections right here for your Wi-Fi antennas. I believe this is a reset CMOS switch, which is another nice thing to see. You have your PS2 port. You have 2 USB 3.0 ports, 2 Ethernet ports, which is pretty interesting to see on a very small motherboard like this. You have 2 HDMI outs, as well as the mini display port, and then you have your audio down here. So that is about it for the Z77-ITX Wi-Fi from Zotac. Check back very soon on Think Computers for the full review. And remember, if you like our unboxing videos, why don't you subscribe? Catch you guys later.